Hello everybody, and welcome to my tutorial on the Skyrim TARDIS mod made by ShatteredSteel. So when you download the mod, it's going to give you a item here in your books called the Prophecy of the Blue Box. You read it, the image should be a picture of the TARDIS, at least I think. And the prophecy approaches. Anyway, oh wait, whoa. Almost looks like there's something there. Alright, anyway, so when you do that, it'll start a quest. The quest will take you to T.A.R.D.I.S, or however you say that. And it's a temple up there with a sunroof, skylight, whatever. You want to avoid dropping down the skylight. You want to go through the actual front doors. And the reason for this is if you go down the skylight, you'll land right on the TARDIS, and you'll be able to get in and take off, but you won't be able to get the Doctor's sonic screwdriver. So if you want the screwdriver and all the pleasures and joys that come with it, then be sure and go through the front door and go through it properly. Alright, so as I mentioned, you get the Doctor's screwdriver, which is this right here, and I will show you that. It falls in under your weapons category. Looks pretty good. And you will also get a new power called the TARDIS Summon. And it does exactly what it says on the tin. It summons the TARDIS. So, here we go. And there it is in all of its blue phone box splendor. Now, this does load a different area when you enter it. And here you go. And there are lots of buttons and knobs. Feel free to explore these, but not till after you do the configuration setup. And I will take you through that right now. To do the configuration setup, the first thing you want to do is use one of those two doors up on the second row, or this row down, or this door down here, and you'll enter the inside of the TARDIS. Now the inside of the TARDIS is a separate load area, which is great because it's not affected by anything you might do out front. Plus, it allows for a much bigger build, and as you can see, there are corridors everywhere. And this door here closes. Now the first thing you want to do is come into this room right here. And on this table there'll be all kinds of cubes. So you want to pick up all the cubes that are on this table. And I will do a video again that shows the rest of this area and what you can find in here. So anyway, you got all these cubes, and now we're going to go back to the main room. Now I've recorded this video once, and it was 30 minutes in length. And I'm trying to avoid that this time. So I'm re-recording it, shortening everything I talk about, realizing I have to put a lot more into different videos in order to save on time. Alright, now basically the first thing you want to do is those cubes you collected go into this hypercube relay. So you just click on that, put in the configuration cube, and click on it again to get this screen, and we're going to activate. Now this allows you to set all the options, or at least all the options that are available for the TARDIS and for yourself. So let's start with this one here. The TARDIS itself comes with a chameleon circuit, a HAD system, and a locator beacon. So the chameleon circuit does what the chameleon circuit's supposed to do in the show, and that is change the TARDIS to look to fit the environment to which it materializes. Now, this does a really good job. ShatteredSteel did a great job of putting in some different looks. For instance, if you materialize inside a house, you'll become a bookcase or wardrobe or something similar. If you materialize outside, you'll become a tree or a rock or something similar. And now, the problem with the chameleon circuit is there's no way, even if I come back and turn it off after using it, I will never get the police blue box look again. I will always be stuck with whatever the setting is. If I leave it on, I'll keep changing based on the environment. If I turn it off, then the last thing I turn into will be what it becomes stuck as. So, if you want to redefine the TARDIS in Skyrim as the guy who lives under a rock, then that might work for you. But if you want to keep the classic look, you'll just have to leave this off and never, really use it. Although you can use it, save your game, save your game, turn it on, use it, get an idea of what it does, go back to that save, and you'll be back in the blue box and it'll be fine. Now, otherwise, if you travel with it for a really long time to the point that you don't want to reload an old save, then you'll have to do the disable fix, which basically just means that you'll have to quit the game, disable the mod, come back into the game, check OK on the warning box, save the game, go back out, re-enable the mod, and then come back into this game you just saved, and then go on the quest again to find the box, and you will get the blue TARDIS again. Alright, the HAD system. The HAD system is the Hostile Action Displacement System. It basically, anytime you are under threat or danger comes near, say a dragon flies over or you materialize in the middle of a band of thieves, which it can do, then the HAD system engages and the TARDIS dematerializes until you end the threat. Once the threat is gone, it will return. Now, the random HADs has the TARDIS prop up in a different location. It can be anywhere from a few feet to the next safe area over. So I usually leave this one off just because I don't want to have to go hunt it down. It's easier just to fight off the threat most of the time. But, you kind of have to play it you. I am using mods that will give me infinite health. You may not be using those mods, so fighting it off if you end up in a giant's den may not be what you want to do. So the random HADs is maybe what you would rather have. If anything else, you can just get away far enough till you can fast travel or just get to safety. When you're no longer under threat, you could summon the TARDIS back to you and could carry on with your adventures. It just depends on how realistic you want to be, or I guess for role-playing purposes, how role-playing realistic you want to be. So anyway, I usually leave the HADs on, but turn the random spot off. The locator is basically that. It creates a quest line item in your quest section in the miscellaneous area, and you can track it and untrack it depending on whether or not you need to find the TARDIS. Again, like I said, unless you just want to call it to you or summon it over to your location all the time, tracking it down can be fun. Just it adds a little bit of intrigue, especially if you forget where you parked it. Alright, so anyway, once you're happy with these settings, hit return, and then there's the regeneration options. This is for your character. If you're not using a mod that protects your health, then you can set this to regenerate you at different stages in your health. So the auto regeneration percent basically lets you specify at what percent the auto regeneration effect will kick in. The skill variance gives you the ability to manipulate how your skills are divvied up whenever you respawn. Basically, kind of like the Doctor got new traits new traits whenever he respawned. Well, you can get some new traits also. The animation effect is basically that cool regeneration animation. So if you want that. The show race menu. Now, if you notice, there's a little warning up above that says vampires will always be cured while show race menu is on. This is if you want the whole Doctor Who experience of even changing your face. So if the show race menu is turned on, Basically, when you regenerate, a menu pops up, letting you select your new race, which will change your look, and it will also cure vampirism. But if you turn off the race menu, then you will, if you're a Nord, you'll stay a Nord. If you're a Khajiit, you'll stay a Khajiit. And so you can then choose whether or not to be cured from your vampirism or not. So if you really like it, like being a vampire, and you've worked hard to get to maybe Vampire Lord, then you may not want to cure that particular thing, so you can turn it off. Whatever. Like I said, these things don't really apply to me because of the mod I use. Please don't judge me. Anyway, so once you have all your settings set the way you want, then just click on this, and eventually that thing will, there you go, and hit remove. And now we're ready to do our first travel at 10 minutes into this video. So the first way we can travel, and probably the most common way that you'll want to travel, is using a predefined destination. And that's where all these cubes come in. The cubes that we ran and got off the table. Each one is a different location and has a bunch of the locations around that location programmed in. Now, not all locations are programmed in, partially because there's so many locations. I don't know if it's even possible, and maybe ShatteredSteel had intended to put them all in over time, but for whatever reason, the mod has been abandoned, and ShatteredSteel no longer does anything with it, and hasn't really since 2016. Anyway, so we activate it, and as you can see, cities and towns around Whiterun, forts and camps, oops, towers, which there appears to be just one, ruins, caves, and standing stones. Now, and each cube is pretty much the same. You just, just with different locations. Alright, I'm going to just do a quick trip to Riverwood. So we set our destination. Now we hit this button here. And there are two ways to fly this. When I push this button, it's going to give me all these different commands. If I run around and do the manual command set, then I follow the manual commands, I run around and click on everything, then I'll get to manually fly it. That little sound you heard will last longer, and those lights up there will spin around. But I use the shortcut method. And with the shortcut method, basically you just press that button twice and it'll quickly take you to where you want to go. Now you'll notice that I removed this hypercube. You want to remove this hypercube before you leave this room. And honestly, you might even want to remove it just as fast as you can after you take your trip. Because there is a glitch where the cube will get stuck and the relay won't respond to clicks. So you can't put any other cubes in there, you can't get your cube out, and you can't set new coordinates, new locations. So yeah, so you want to pull this out just as fast as you can after your trip is over, just to save you that. To be honest, I've only experienced this glitch a couple of times, and it was always whenever I went out. Well, the first time was when I went in and out of the TARDIS and just left the cube in there. When I came back in, after several trips, I came back in, pulled the cube, tried to pull the cube out, it wouldn't come out, it wouldn't respond to my touch. Then when I was shooting the earlier version of this video, the cube actually got stuck after the navigation. And the only thing I can think is I spent a lot of time talking before I removed it after the trip, and maybe that got stuck. I really don't know what got it stuck. It was the first time I had even heard of it getting stuck just after doing a flight, but most people reported that they'd left and come back in and then couldn't, and that was what had happened to me when I experienced the glitch and tried to find a workaround. If the cube gets stuck, you have two choices. Reload an earlier save, and where the cube wasn't stuck, But if you've done too much and you don't want to do that, then your other option is to do the disable fix, which I explained earlier in this video. The whole disable it, load, enable, do the quest again. Alright, so if you remember, we took this trip to Riverwood. So once the load screen comes through, we're at 15 and a half. 20 minutes I can live with. I really don't want to do a 30-minute video, but now it's taking a while to load. There we go. Now here we are in Riverwood. And yep. Now, the TARDIS will spawn in random places. I say random places. It's actually preset places, but until you go to a place and kind of get a feel, it feels kind of random where it spawns, because sometimes it'll be way outside the town like this. Other times it'll be right inside the town, like next to major buildings. People will not respond to the TARDIS at all. They'll even, like, sometimes I'll spawn here and there'll be people sitting on these different stumps, and they don't respond to the TARDIS whatsoever. Now, the archer guy in this town, he will walk this way, and apparently he has an area that he walks into, and he will just walk up against the TARDIS for a while before finally turning around and going back the other way. So, yeah, anyway, this is Riverwood. Now, the other way to travel, and don't worry about it, nobody can get in. They can't follow you through that door or anything. So the other way to travel is the random travel and the quick return travel. I want to do the quick return, that way I can, because the quick return takes you to the last place that you were at. So if you travel to 3 places in a row, it's only going to take you to the most recent place. So I'm going to hit the fast return. I'm going to hit this button, hit the fast return, hit this button. Now, I'm pretty certain that you don't have to hit the fast return button twice. I just never am sure if you have to hit it before you hit this button, or if you hit this button, then hit the fast return, then hit this button. So I just hit it like both times, before and after, and yeah. All I know is my method of fast travel activator, fast travel activator, it works. And we're at the almost 18-minute mark. And I only have one more thing I really want to show you. So here we are. See, that returned us. The fast travel just brings us right back to where we were. And now, so, as I said, there is one other method of travel, and that is the random traveling. To do a random travel, you just hit the button again, or, like I said, at any time, whether you're fast traveling, navigating by cube, or random traveling, you can run around, just hit this button once, then run around following the instructions that pop up to flip the different switches and dials, and you will end up wherever. Now, quick note, if you random travel, the TARDIS will take you anywhere in Skyrim. So that is places you have discovered, places you have not discovered, safe places, dangerous places, whatever. So, what I recommend is, if you have a high sneak, then get into your crouch position and go out. Because you'll stay in your crouch position when you get out there, and if you've got a high enough sneak to where things can't just immediately see you while you're crouched, then you're less likely to trigger the HADS event, thus having your TARDIS disappear and having to fight a bunch of people. And I have no idea where I'm at. Where am I? Okay, I'm in Brittle Sheen Pass, which is, I don't know where. Apparently off my map. Because it still thinks I'm over here. So, I do have a high, oh crap. There's a booby trap right there. So even though the monsters here couldn't see me, the booby trap saw me. Okay, so not a safe place, and okay, good, that left. Alright, so I'm out of here. And like I said, nothing can follow you through, but if you do have the HADs on and you trigger the whole HAD system, you have to get rid of all the threats before you'll be allowed to re-enter the TARDIS. And so, they're in. Now we're back and it's safe. We're at the 20-minute mark, but I'm going to go ahead and fill a few extra seconds with one other cool thing. If you use your screwdriver, which I think nope, I don't have activated. There we go. I equip my screwdriver, and if you do this in the vicinity of your screwdriver, or in the vicinity of your TARDIS, you can dematerialize the TARDIS, which is cool for watching the general effect. And yeah, that's it. But now, after just a few seconds, it comes right back. So, other than just like a cool way of getting to watch it come in and out, I'm not sure what that's about, unless maybe the sonic screwdriver. Nope. Yep. Okay, so hey, I guess I finally figured out what that is. Sonic screwdriver, I guess since it's classified as a weapon, just the act of it being used triggers the HAD's defense system. And so, there you go. That's how the HADS works. But since there's no real threat, it comes back fairly quickly. I always thought it was just a fun way of getting to play with it, but it turns out, no, it's a weapon and it triggers. I've never actually shot my TARDIS with a fireball because of fear of destroying it. Yeah, so, hey, learned something new myself. Anywho, the only other thing, the use that the screwdriver seems to have, because I haven't noticed that it has any effect on creatures, there are supposed to be rifts that open, like in the Matt Smith story with Amy Pond. Yeah, there was little cracks in the universe. I have never actually seen a crack, but people have mentioned online in the different forums that they have seen the cracks, and you use the sonic screwdriver to close them most of the time, although apparently there is a glitch in some areas where it won't work sometimes, and you might have to come back reload that area in order to get it to work. So anyway, this is a TARDIS. It is really fun to play with. I use it for a lot of my trips. The only downside is the ability to add custom locations was never added to the mod before ShatteredSteel stopped working on it. So you can't add your own locations. So really to get it to places like this is to fast travel there and then call it to you. But yeah, it's still a lot of fun. I enjoy it, especially when I just want to run around and see parts of the world I haven't been to. I'll use that random go. Alright, so anyway, my 20-minute video is now approaching 25 minutes, but it's not 30, so I'm going to chalk it up to a win. If you like this video, I don't know, I hate advertising, so whatever. Do what you want to do about that. But I will be posting other videos that highlight, and I guess I could just stop running around here and making everybody dizzy. Anyway, I will be posting other videos to highlight some of the other and showcase some of the other features of the TARDIS, especially all the rooms and stuff on the inside. The interiors are really cool. So anyway, I will mention this in my last minute. If you get the glitch, a lot of times when you first enter the TARDIS, the door is sideways. If you get this glitch, the simple fix for the glitch is to explore around the interiors. You'll find another room that is a TARDIS control room. It has a chain on the wall. Pull the chain. That will make the TARDIS door come to that room. Then go back to the main console room. Pull the chain in there, and the door will reset and fix properly. I had intended to actually mention that in the beginning, but I forgot until just now. So anyway, this is me signing off before the 25-minute mark. happy questing, Skyriming, TARDISing. I don't know. Bye.